No, no. Full stop. Not. Blood doping is such a fascinating subject because the actual act of blood doping is not illegal. However, in doing it to give yourself an advantage over other people in a competitive situation is illegal. Therefore, the actual act of it isn't, but the reason you're doing it in most cases is. It's sort of like how firing a gun isn't illegal, but firing a gun at someone is illegal. Interesting areas. In the vast majority of cases, those who blood dope are doing it to give themselves a competitive foot up on the competition. So trying to find any reference to this in the real world where they're not doing it for illegal reasons was somewhat difficult. Luckily for me though, Brian Johnson exists. And this story is wild. Brian Johnson is a multi-millionaire who frequently has his 18-year-old son give him a liter of his own blood to be transfused into his father in hopes he stays eternally young. I am not making any of that up. That is all real things that happen in the world. Stories like this always bring the exact same quote to mind. 50 Shades of Grey is only romantic because he's a billionaire. If he were poor, it would be an episode of Criminal Minds. Which, yeah, this is not normal. I come from a middle-class background economics. And if my father one day came to me and went, hey, can I have a liter of your blood every 2 weeks in order to try and stay eternally young? I would be very concerned because that doesn't sound like my father at all. But hey, say you did do that and spend all your money on a very expensive blood transfusion events to try and keep yourself young forever, he would probably be put in a psychiatric ward because that is not a normal thing to do. But luckily, with all that money, it's fine. He's rich. He's allowed to eat cookies. So what if he's pointing a missile at some country? It's fine. He's a millionaire. He's rich. He's got lots of money. He's just kooky. Who cares if he's releasing a very dangerous virus into the entire world and can wipe out the entire population? He's just a funny little rich man. Oh god. However, this presents the evidence that in this human world, as long as blood doping isn't being used to get a competitive foot up on others, and all people in this transaction of bodily fluid exchange, why do they word it like that, are consenting individuals who, for the record, by the way, Brian Johnson got his son when he was under 18 to do this. He got his minor child to give him blood. But hey, as long as all people involved are consenting, this event of blood doping isn't illegal and is completely fine. Legally speaking. Morally and ethically and, subjectively on a society-based preference, like I said, 50 Shades of Grey, only romantic because he's a billionaire. Or maybe it presents evidence of the fact that as long as you're rich, you can get away with anything that others would be incarcerated for because they don't have money, so they don't have the power to buy their way out of doing sketchy, morally and ethically bad things. Oh, that's depressing if it's true. Oh, that is true, isn't it? Oh, that's depressing. Let's talk about Beastars, shall we, though? Today, we're looking at this scene in Beastars and asking what are the ethics of actually doing such an act in the Beastars world? And asking the question of whether within the Beastars world, is the idea of blood doping more or less ethical than it would be in the human world? Bet you didn't think this was the kind of video I was going to be making today. Bet this isn't the kind of video you expect to be watching today. Bet you didn't expect this kind of video to ever exist. Yeah, I'm talking about a fictional world's blood doping ideology in comparison to the real world. My brain is weird. Interestingly, later on in the series of Beastars, the idea of blood consumption is actually brought up and much more explored in the existence of the blood-bone energy drink consumption concoction. However, we'll talk about that when we get to that. For now, we're just going to focus on the ethical consumption of blood in the quantity and discussion of it is in this scene. That was a whole jumble of words. Basically, it's kind of like the episode of Rick and Morty where people turn into spaghetti when they, decided to not be alive. I hate YouTube censorship so much. God damn, this is stupid. All the stuff that appears on the homepage that is absolutely terrible, and yet I can't say that little word. How am I going to make a video on the anime about transforming clothes of sentient awareness? That has the word twice in one row. Where was I going with this? What am I talking about? Beastars, right. Spaghetti. It's like that Rick and Morty episode. It's super dumb, but it's a really good analogy. I hate that that's true. And while we talk more about Bloodbone in a most likely much later episode of this series, for now, let's talk about the ethical consumption of blood when you are knowingly and actively choosing to ingest it with the knowledge that, yes, this is blood I'm ingesting. Within the episode, Bill is ingesting the rabbit's blood with the intent of calming his nerves. In every version, Bill claims that he got the rabbit's blood from someone else who isn't a student. The sub claiming it was from an older punk. The dub saying it was from a senior who's a bit of a rebel.
Hey, it goes without saying, but it's not a student's blood. A senior who's a bit of a rebel gave it to me. I keep it in case of emergency.
And with the manga just saying it's from an older tiger. But this is where things get interesting, because it's never directly said at this point whether the consumption of blood is illegal in Beastars. It's clearly stated in the series that the consumption of any form of meat is strictly forbidden and is a felony that will have you incarcerated in the series.
At this boarding school, the rules state that all students are required to eat their meals in the cafeteria. Naturally, eating meat of any kind at school would be considered a serious crime. As a matter of fact, even outside of school, the shops will never serve meat to anyone.
However, it's never actually addressed whether the consumption of just blood is a criminal activity, as while the consumption of meat is required of mutilation of a living life form, the actual ingestion of blood, that can be made without, beyond the prick of a small needle, any mutilation to anyone, and could be highly profitable for many people and beneficial to all parties involved. So while I believe someone, if they were caught consuming blood, would absolutely face reformation, whether or not it would be highly legal reformation or not, I'm not sure. Most likely, yes. However, it could also just be, okay, that's terrible. You're now being socially shunned by everyone. You got a slap on the wrist. We haven't actually punished you, but the whole of society knows. Kind of that Black Mirror episode will end where like he's like blacklisted from everyone's face. That kind of thing. It's a horrible loophole, but it's kind of like how in the UK it's illegal for anyone under 18 to buy alcohol. However, it is not illegal for anyone under 18 to consume alcohol. If an under 18-year-old were to be caught drinking alcohol, sure, they'd probably be reprimanded, but it isn't actually an illegal activity. Also, the only place you can drink them is in private properties or at home, so if you were caught drinking and the police were to come in, they would be breaking into private property to reprimand you, which in itself is illegal. That's not the point though. But if an under 18-year-old is caught drinking alcohol, they themselves, while they will be probably reprimanded, they are not doing anything illegal. However, the person who sold them the alcohol, yes, that is definitely illegal. And if the 18-year-old is, or if the under 18-year-old is found to have purchased the alcohol, they themselves are now in illegal activity. However, if an under 18-year-old is just given the alcohol to drink, they themselves are not in any legal trouble. So while the obtainment and distribution of rabbit's blood may be illegal, the actual consumption of the person consuming it may not be illegal. Socially shunned and highly punished, sure, but not actively illegal. And considering how the series never specifies how the blood was obtained, this creates an interesting discussion that we're talking about in this video. So, we have 3 questions to work our way through and discuss in this video. 1. Is it ethical to consume rabbit's blood that was freely given by a rabbit? 2. Is it ethical to consume blood, period? No. Full stop. Not period, full stop, end of sentence, period. Is it ethical to consume blood? Full stop. And 3, is it ethical to consume blood if it gives you an advantage in the Beastars world? So, starting from the start, which is where you should always probably start, actually, maybe not, who knows, that was a weird statement. If we ask the question of how was this blood actually obtained, there are two possible ways it was acquired. One, a rabbit freely gave their own blood to someone for most likely monetary value, or two, someone forcibly took it from the rabbit without their consent and then they sold it for a profit. If the blood was forcibly taken, then no. Plain and simple. Full stop. There it is. No. If it is forcibly taken from someone without their permission, then no. It is not ethical, it is probably not legal, and no, it is not alright to consume rabbit's blood. And it is especially not okay to consume that rabbit blood that was forcibly taken if it is actively giving you an advantage in life. However, if the blood was given with permission, this is where subjects get interesting. Similarly to uploading a compromising picture of someone onto the internet without their permission, that is illegal and is not okay, especially if you're selling it for money. Not only is it unethical, but also, massively and highly illegal, so don't do it. However, if the person in the compromising picture, I don't know why I did that, were to have taken the picture and or video or content or media themselves and had uploaded it of their own free will with the intent of profiting off it, that is their active decision of their own free volition and choice, and that itself is perfectly ethical, such as certain websites that exist in the world that may or may not relate to a lock. Is it a lock symbol? It's a lock symbol, isn't it? Yeah, a lock. You know what website I'm talking about? Everyone knows what. The Fansly, the best Fansly website, the best Fansly website where I forget where I'm going with this point. Where people upload various compromising pictures of themselves, however, do so for a profit. This in itself is perfectly fine. However, if you take a picture of someone else without their permission and then upload it to them for their own profit, that is illegal and not okay. So, if a rabbit were to be pinned down and the blood extracted by force, this is not okay. However, if a rabbit were to freely take some of their blood on a daily basis and put into vials and to sell it for monetary value to help them pay for bills or whatever reason they would be using the money for in that Beastars world, the rabbit themselves is freely giving their blood and freely selling it to carnivores for a monetary value. They have seen an audience they can sell to, which will profit them, and they are taking advantage of that. That is perfectly fine. It's kind of like how it's unethical to eat the last slice of pizza that your mate paid for and you didn't give any money towards without asking. However, if they offer, then sure, feel free to eat it, it's completely ethical. Ugh, Hawaiian. Never mind. I'm good. So, that is the first handle. Is it ethical to consume rabbit's blood if it was freely given? In my opinion, yes. In that tiny bubble of circumstances where you are discussing is it ethical to consume blood that was freely given by someone of consenting ability who has consented to giving it, yes. In that situation, that thin bubble, tiny microcosm of ideology, yes, it is perfectly ethical to consume rabbit's blood. However, second hurdle. Is it ethical to consume blood? Full stop. I am not making that same mistake twice in one video. And this is where it gets complicated. I think the answer is yes. If the blood is ethically sourced, then it should be fine to consume. However, due to the uncertainty of such a substance and the morality of such an act, it would need to be heavily governed, so laws would have to be put in place where you could only obtain the blood legally from certain designated locations, which would lead to one of two pathway of events. One, the regulation of ethical blood distribution would lead to the creation of blood distribution centers, which along with the entire production of the supply chain would be paid through by taxes, which would lead to an increase in taxes, leading to herbivores paying taxes so carnivores could drink their blood. Or two, vials of blood would be treated like alcohol and could be purchased from over-the-counter supermarkets, which would create a morally grey area in which you could buy blood from the supermarket. But just like when I go into a supermarket and buy the latest copy of Hustlers, butter and a bagel, just because it's legal doesn't mean I'm not going to be judged for doing so. Oh, and totally for the record, I only buy it for the articles, and also buttered bagels on toast are absolutely delicious and the perfect thing in the morning if you're going for a long run. However, considering the, oh my god, I'm actually doing this in the video, the current discourse in the world regarding women's rights to choices over their own body, oh, what am I doing? This is going to turn into an absolute shitstorm. Considering that situation currently present in the world where why is the world the way it is? Can't we just get along? What was I saying? Where am I going with? Where am I going with this? Yes, considering that discourse currently present in the world, do you really believe in the world of Beastars, a location where carnivores could specifically go to get animal blood that was taken from another living creature would not have protesters outside such a building, shaming them and degrading them and calling them less than life, such in parallels to the real world in certain situations? Shut up, don't talk about politics, this is gonna get... But do not believe that such a building where it is specifically saying that we are going to offer at these services where you come to this place. Imagine if there was a... I mean, there are already clinics, but imagine if there was a specific clinic where you go to get ED medicine. Imagine this is the only place. You can get over the counter, you can get it at any other pharmacy. The only place to get ED pills was go to this specific pharmacy that is specifically labeled as ED pills. How many people would proudly walk in like, yep, I'm just coming to get my ED pills. Or how many would be like, hi, I'm here to get the things. Yeah, my name and address. Yeah, okay, cool, thanks. And just sneak out. Because, I don't know, like in the Beastars world, while it may be ethical and legal to consume blood in this situation, doesn't mean there's not a shame to it. It's like people, like, this, why did I go with the metaphor that I did? Oh, this is such a better one. But no, this is like people discovering teenage boys' stash of certain magazines or media or things. No one's going to have it on their desktop thing, like, totally not what you think it is. Yeah. No one's going to have it tucked away somewhere, stored, say, I don't know. If they have adult material on their computer or devices, actually no, I work in retail, they'll just have them in their gallery like, yep, what do you think? Just front page of my camera, what do you think? Most recent shot, not even a private folder, just right there. What is wrong with people put your pictures in your own private folders? What is this tangent? What was I even talking about? Yes. Provided you could go to... that was such a weird tangent. Provided you could go to a location to ethically purchase rabbit's blood or any herbivore blood, society would still judge you for doing this, such as many people still judge those coming off of an addiction for going to a place that helps give them small doses of whatever addiction they may be facing to help wean them off of the substance. However, this judgment from society would most likely lead to the vast majority of carnivores, instead of walking into this location where they will be publicly judged and shamed for doing something that is completely legal and ethical, that is socially judged, they would most likely go to back alley suppliers who would give them the rabbit's blood, which is probably not obtained through ethical means. So ultimately, the existence of the black market actually is most likely the most ethical means of allowing carnivores to consume rabbit's blood and or meat, which would allow for harmonious living between carnivores and herbivores, which is probably why the politicians allow it to exist, because of the other options, the black market is the lesser of the, not even just two problems, the many choices. So, to answer question number 2, is it ethical to consume blood? Full stop. Subjective. It is subjective, and I think the real clincher to this will be answering question number 3, which is the consumption of blood ethical if it has side effects that give one an unfair advantage in any situation? If the blood is ethically sourced, sold through highly governed and checked backgrounds to ensure that the blood is ethically procured, that's the word I wanted, procured, and is sold to someone that knowing that consuming will have no adverse effects that will give them an unfair advantage, then sure, yeah, why not? People donate blood, they donate other bodily fluids. This is just something that exists in the world. People do this. People have donated organs. There is a highly tracked system of ethical distribution of that which contains to the human or life form body with consenting individuals. There's also a very dark black market of non-regulated distribution of such organs, where many are pressured into doing that, but that's a whole other subject. Do not bring politics into videos. What are you doing? That is like rule 1 of YouTube, you idiot. Also, don't swear in the first few minutes, and also don't make Minecraft videos if you're attracted to children. Cut this bit out, probably. So, if the blood is procured ethically, sold ethically, that's a hard word to say for me, and Bill consumes it without any adverse effect, where it's just a drink that has no dishonest or unethical advantages to it, then yes, legally, the consumption of blood in that means is legally completely fine. Socially, that's subjective, but overall, consenting individuals all through all transactions, so yeah, it's legally fine. It's like a 40-year-old dating a barely legal 18-year-old. Legally, it's completely fine. Legally. Ethically, well, they're both consenting adults, so it is also completely, ethically, technically fine. Morally, though, just no. Obviously not. That's creepy as hell. Can we just agree that? Can society just agree that? Like, sure, even if you have a... Stop bringing politics in the video! Even if you have a sugar daddy, even if you're a 40-year-old man dating a barely legal 18-year-old, that's just no. What is the rule? Like, half your age plus 7 years or whatever that is? The youngest you can date at 40 is 27. This is just... What's the point of all this? Yes, socially, though, that situation, just, sure, maybe it's fine, but it definitely falls under the situation. However, what if the blood has side effects? Well, as Bill says, he is using the blood to calm his nerves before the performance. Therefore, it is technically a performance-enhancing drug, which would make it a performance-enhancing product. And this is where it gets even more interesting. I use that phrase way too often in videos. This is like the 5th level of interesting in this video, isn't it? But it is interesting, so I guess it's technically true as well. Bill is taking the rabbit's blood to help calm his nerves. This would seem to why do I get those words messed up? Suggest that in the Beastars world, the ingestion of rabbit blood is that similar to, of the human world, the consumption of alcohol, in the way that it reacts in the same manner as alcohol does to the human body, calming our nerves. This is because, in simple terms, alcohol is a sedative that helps relax our brain through essentially self-poisoning. We still drink it though. Society is weird. But this means, in the case of Bill using it as a nerve calmer, the efficacy of it is subjectively interesting. If I were to find out my mate took a shot of Dutch courage every time he did a performance, okay, that's fine. As long as he knows his lines and can feint soberness. I don't care if he's sloshed. If he can do his performance and no one knows that he's sloshed, that is the marks of a good actor. However, the difference in the Beastars world to the human world is alcohol isn't extracted from a living sentient being that you would see walking around the street. It is extracted from barley, but that's a technically living life. You know what I meant? Like a sentient living life form that you could have a conversation with. I mean, you can talk to barley if you want, but you might be very sloshed. Hey, barley! What's up? What's your opinion on the weather? That's a very good words. I'm a little bit tipsy right now. I'm gonna go talk to that combine harvester coming towards me. Hey! What am I doing? What am I talking about? I don't remember what my point here was. Maybe I'm sloshed. How much have I drank today? I lost count of how many bottles. My point I was trying to make there is this goes back to the subject of real-world doping, in which athletes inject themselves with additional blood to create additional oxygen in their body, thus giving them an advantage in any sporting event. So I can see both sides of this argument, and considering there is no real-world counterpart to this, it's a hard question to give a definitive answer to. The only correlation I can really think to this would be if athletes were taking shots of blood mixed with alcohol, and that would kind of be the question, except drinking blood like that wouldn't actually help it. You need to be directly injected into you. You'd be drinking blood at that point like a vampire. There is no real world comparison though, but it's interesting. That's the problem with comparing Beastars' fictional worlds, ideologies, and ways of society working to real world structures, because within Beastars, the consumption of rabbit's blood by a carnivore, I mean by a herbivore maybe as well, but by a carnivore is a mix of alcohol and blood ideology that mixes up, because an athlete doing shots will not give them an advantage, but an athlete doing blood doping will. But if you mix them together, there's a wibbly wobbly bit in the middle, and that's what we're discussing, so it's kind of hard to do so. Ultimately, it's a very complex Jenga tower, but here's my stance. The person extracting their own blood to sell, they're in the green. They're fine. Off they pop. They want to make money that way. Fantastic. Whatever. More power to them. As long as they don't extract too much blood and end up becoming anemic and going into shock and dying, fantastic. That's great. They're in the green. Live their life. Be happy. Whatever. The person buying the blood off of the herbivore that took it from their own body, they're still in the green, but probably a bit closer to like the morally questionable center of it, but overall still within the green. They are paying for a service from the herbivore, where the herbivore is being paid a fair amount for the item they are supplying. That is a fair trade and a business proposition between the herbivore and the carnivore, or whoever, even if it's a herbivore, buying the blood from the supplier of the blood. The person buying the blood from the dealer who is using it for recreational reasons, sure, as long as you're using it purely for recreational reasons and aren't abusing it and aren't using it as any step up on anyone else to give yourself an unfair advantage, yeah, sure, you're in the green. Fantastic. You're not hurting anyone. The blood is being obtained from someone who is being paid for their service, and it is a fair trade market. However, the person who is obtaining the blood for unfair ethical reasons to try and dope themselves up to give them an unfair advantage, they're just in the red. No, that's not fine. That's not okay. The actual consumption of the blood isn't the issue, is the fact that they are cheating. That is the problem. The blood is just what is allowing them to cheat. However, if they are using it in the case of Bill's situation, where he is using it to calm his nerves before performance, I don't know, actually. I honestly don't have an answer. I've thought about this for a long time, but I still don't have a definitive answer. If the blood is ethically sourced and the person supplying the blood was paid a fair price and the blood was given to Bill, or Bill brought it, or whatever, if he acquired it all through ethical means and is simply used to calm his nerves, that is similar to taking a shot of whatever is your choice of poison to calm your nerves. And that is perfectly fine, as long as you don't abuse it. Consumption of alcohol is great and leads to a great night out. However, if the blood is unethically obtained through unethical means, then no, it's obviously not okay. But if Bill is just using it to calm his nerves for performance, even if it was unethically sourced, if he does not know that and he's just taking it to calm his nerves, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't have an answer, unfortunately, and that is my personal opinion on it. But as always, with the intent behind this channel, it is to overthink all things anime, manga, and otaku related, to start a discussion on subjects that are fun to discuss. So, let me know what your opinion is, because this is such a multifaceted, leveled Jenga tower of such subjects that I am so curious as to hear what your opinion on this is, because it's such a fascinating subject and everyone has their own interpretive idea of it. But I don't have an answer, because I don't think there is an answer, because there is no real world parallel to such a situation. But it's fun to start discussion on such a area where we can back and forth talk about our subjective ideology of what this means. However, as I did kind of stupidly bring up politics in this video, please keep the comment section civilized. Let's keep it to the discussion of rabbit's blood or fictional world ideology, where if you need to mention certain geopolitical situations in the real world, that's fine, but keep the main point of the subject on the fictional world of Beastars, and let's not turn the comment section into an absolute dumpster fire of uncalled for hatred towards anyone else who disagrees with your point. Let's stay civilized, let's talk about it, let's have a friendly back and forth subjective conversation where no one is in the right and it's all up in the air and completely subjective. And as of making this video, the channel had this many subscribers. If you want to join that awesome number, you know what to do. And until next time, do I have anything else to say? No. Cool. Yeah. Oh, if you want to hear about the symbolism behind this scene, though, you can check out this video over here. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. How long has that not been recording for? 1 minute. Oh my god. What? I hate this. I hate this microphone. I hate this microphone. I hate this microphone sometimes. It doesn't, there's not even like a beep beep, low battery. I have stopped recording. It just goes, oh well, it's low battery. I didn't check the thing. It's been low battery for the entirety of this video.